All right, well, approaching the top of the hour, and with that, we move to the head coach of the Monmouth Hawks, Coach Kevin Callahan. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
All right, hope you're doing okay.
We're doing okay. We're hanging in there and trying to get ready for this next game.
Okay, well, Hawks, if you can open up, talk about the loss to Charleston Southern, and then talk about heading down to Liberty and your thoughts on the Flames. We'll go to questions after that.
Okay. Well, Charleston Southern came up here. It was the first time we had an opportunity to host a Big South team, and they're a very good team, as I think everybody knows. And I thought they came up and played and executed very well. It wasn't an ideal day from a weather standpoint. We had some wind and we had quite a bit of rain, and it wasn't all that cold. Really wasn't cold at all. But I thought they were able to execute their offense, very efficiently. I didn't think we played particularly well in some spots, and when we had some breakdowns, whether it was physical or mental, they certainly made us pay for it, and they took advantage of it, and that's something that good football teams do. Take advantage of the opponent's mistakes, and I think they kind of played very, very well on defense. We were never really able to generate or establish any rhythm to our offense, be it throwing the ball or running it, and they kind of took control of the game there. And our defense was on the field a lot early on, and they kind of just kept coming at us and wore us down, and that was the resulting score, 27-0.
All right, Coach, at this time we'll start taking questions for Monmouth head coach Kevin Callahan. To enter the question queue, please press star 1 on your phone at any time, or click the Q&A link near the top of your browser and click raise hand. And while we're waiting for questions, Coach, talk about this week's opponent heading back down to Liberty this Saturday.
Well, as we we're preparing here to go down and play Liberty, it'll be our second ever trip down to Lynchburg. We went down there in a non-league contest a year ago, and we saw then that was the window that provided a glimpse of what type of football team and what type of program they have there. They're a very talented team. They're extremely well coached, and I think they've got great balance to what they do. On offense, they have a number of weapons that they can hurt you with. The quarterback is playing very well, and he's multidimensional in what he can do. They've got an excellent running back. And they've got a very good group of receivers, and one in particular, and they can hurt you in a lot of different ways. And just watching their video, I've been very impressed by the play of their offensive line. They're a very physical group, and they really do a good job of finishing plays. And I think when you put all those things together, you got quite a potent attack. On the defensive side of the ball, again, it's a group that. They have talent in a lot of positions. Very impressed with their guys up front in the defensive line, doing a very good job. And on the back end, they've got some talented players led by their safety, who's we saw him a year ago and knew he was a great player then. And just following what he's doing this year so far and watching him play, he hasn't missed a beat. He's an excellent player, and they seem to be extremely deep in every position. And and that's a concern as well. So, we know we're in for a heck of a challenge. We're playing a very, very fine football team, and we're just trying to get our guys prepared and ready to go play.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. At this time, we'll move the questions for Monmouth head coach Kevin Callahan. And, Coach, first question for you is from Chris Lang of the Lynchburg News in Advance.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Your offense the last couple of weeks, has it just been a step up in the competition that's affected things, or some injuries? So what's been going on there?
Well, I think it's probably a combination of a lot of things, certainly those things. I mean, certainly we knew going into the conference play that the level of competition, the quality of the team was going to be a significant step up from where some of the teams we had been playing and from our old conference. So, it's something that we're trying to get geared up for the challenge of doing that. And, like everybody else in the nation, you're in this week of the season, and, injuries start to build up, and you're mixing and matching different positions, and you're hoping guys that are playing in place of your starters can get the job done. And, in some cases they do, in some cases maybe they don't do so well, but that's not a problem that's unique to Monmouth. I think everybody faces that challenge as you move through a season.
Your receiver Sterling, is he healthy to go, ready to go this week, or what's his status?
Well, he didn't play in the second half of last week's game. Had an upper body injury, and we're hopeful that he'll be ready by Saturday.
Okay. And when you look at Liberty's defense the last couple of weeks, especially on film, what's kind of stuck out to you?
I really like the play of the front seven, led by their defensive line. I think they're very firm against the run. They're able to get up the field in pass situations. They move extremely well, and they're very sound in what they do. Rarely, if ever, do you see them out of position. And then they've got talent on the perimeter as well. In the secondary at the corner position, and then in the deep middle in the safety position. They're right on in everything that they do. They're not giving up any big plays. They're not doing anything that's going to hurt them as a defense. And I like what their linebackers are doing. And that's probably this week is the first time I've had a chance to really study and watch them play. And I think they're doing a fine job.
All right, thanks much. See you down here Saturday.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. And Coach, next question for you is from Nick Pierce of the Liberty Flames Sports Network.
Hello, Nick.
Hey, good morning, Coach. I know you said last year when you guys came down here, it kind of gave you a glimpse into the type of program Liberty was and that sort of thing. Is there anything that you'll do differently this time, making the trip down here?
Not really in terms of the logistics of it. I hope we play better. That's one thing. I hope that's what we do different. We unfortunately weren't able to give them much of a contest last year, and we hope we can be a little bit more representative this year. But no, not a lot, I don't think.
First-year offensive coordinator, Kevin Morris, how has that gone? Obviously got off to a great start.
Well, I think there's been a learning curve. Kevin came with us just before spring practice. Didn't have much time with the team in terms of the off season. Joined us, I guess, in mid to late March, and it's been a continual process, and that's what I would say it is. And I thought we did get off to a good start. We were clicking on some things early on. We got into conference play. There's some challenges that we face and some things we got to maybe tinker with and do a little bit better job of. And, we're trying to find the answers and the solutions to those things right now.
You speak to LaVon Cheney and the job that he's done since KB went down?
Yeah, I'm very, happy, very proud of the way LaVon has been able to step up and in KB's absence. As we headed into the season, KB Asante was going to be a big part of what we did. He was a returning 1,000-yard rusher, a bigger physical back. And he went down in week 3. And, since that time, LaVon has come in and had to get more snaps and carry larger share of the load. He's getting more carries. He's getting more catches coming out of the backfield. And, we're trying to keep him healthy. LaVon isn't the biggest guy, but he's doing a pretty good job of it. And he's a very tough, competitive guy. And, very happy with the way he stepped up.
One last one here with Hill. I know he was kind of learning on the fly last year. Now that he's had a year in the system, how much has his play improved?
Well, it's improved quite a bit, but, the unique thing is that when he joined us a year ago, it was really kind of a different offensive system than he's running right now. As I said, Kevin Morris came in to be our offensive coordinator at the end of March, so Brandon's kind of actually learned 2 offenses in the year that he's been with us. But he's making steady progress. He's continuing to move forward, and I think each week he becomes a little more confident.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Nick. And Coach, next question for you is from Josh Newman of the Asbury Park Press.
Good morning, Josh.
Morning, Cal. How are you?
Good, thank you.
When you look at that game from last year down at Liberty, it was a game for the first quarter, then they came out in the second quarter, and they kind of got all over you guys. They do that day, they really caused them to kind of jump all over there in that quarter.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, Josh, but I think I get the gist of what you're asking. I think we went out, we started pretty well early in the first quarter, and then I think they got They hit a couple explosive plays. They had a long pass for a touchdown. They had an interception return for a touchdown, and that kind of popped the game wide open. And then, they were playing from in control of the game at that point and made it very difficult for us. And I think one of the things you saw last year was, how their depth, had an effect on us, or their depth or our lack of depth, however you want to put that.
And just one more, this team right now, you guys have not experienced a lot of adversity before these last 2 weeks. When you guys came back in on Sunday, just what was the general mood like coming off a loss Saturday?
Well, our kids were ready to go to work. Certainly they're not happy, coming off 2 consecutive losses in the conference, and, aren't particularly pleased with the way we did some things, whether it was in terms of execution of assignments or techniques or physical things. And, they've got a business approach to it. They're ready to get back to work. They were anxious to get back out on the field today and get back to work and correct some of these things, and hopefully it reflects in our performance on Saturday.
Thanks, Cal. Thanks, Mark.
All right, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. And, Coach, last questions for you are from Jeremy Schilling of NewJerseyNewsReport.com.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Josh. You touched on the Sterling injury. Any update on the other guys that got banged up on Saturday?
Well, they're all continue to make progress. I don't think anybody's extremely serious. Obviously as a coach, you never like to see a guy, held out of anything, but they're all making good progress, and I think we'll be in good shape heading into the weekend.
Sure. And then back to the question that I asked you Saturday post-game about if you saw any, friends or any common threads between the last 2 losses. After you sat down and looked at the film, was there anything that stood out that you think is a main thing that you got to fix for this week that has been a common thread over the last couple of games?
Yeah, I think we obviously have to do a better job at trying to run the ball. That's something in the last 2 games we have not been able to do, and certainly nowhere near what it was leading into those games. I think that's, first and foremost. I think we have to be a little bit more efficient on offense, and not just in the run game, but in everything that we do, throw and catch and things like that. And, on the defensive side, I think we've got to, do a better job at execution. I didn't think we executed very well, certainly in a couple spots at Presbyterian, and then, that came up again in a couple spots here in the most recent game. And, some of it may be youth, some of it may be from the 3 freshmen that are starting, and there's something to be said for that. But, at this point in the season, I would hope that, we'd kind of overcome those things and that we're doing a better job in all areas.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
All right, Jerry, thanks very much. And, Coach, that's all the questions for you this morning. Well, I appreciate you joining us Saturday down at Liberty.
Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it.
All right. Monmouth at Liberty again, 3:30 p.m. on the American Sports Network.